Peace, everyone. Peace, everybody. Turn my phone up for a second. Peace, everybody. It's Medicine Man, reporting live from the kitchen, of course. Today, I want to talk to y'all about initiations, because I often get the question about if people should get initiated. Should hoodoo workers get initiated into an ATR? All right, here it goes. As a root worker, what we do, especially in the Geechee Gala culture, what we do is tap into the forces of nature, minus the names of spirits, minus the dogma, minus the philosophy. Root working, as seen in the Geechee Gala culture, is tapping into the natural elements of the forces of nature. We never learned names. Okay? A root worker is what many would consider a shaman. We're shamans. Whereas we don't subscribe ourselves to spirits. We don't venerate spirits in hoodoo, not in the Geechee Gala culture of hoodoo. Now, the hoodoo that you will find in New Orleans, that brand of hoodoo is based on a different set of ethnic, geographical, and spiritual implications that created that brand, that style, that tradition of hoodoo that just came out of New Orleans. Now, is that type of hoodoo the same kind of hoodoo that we practice on the southeast coast? Of course not, it's not. It's not that same kind of hoodoo that we practice in the Geechee Gala culture. It's not that same hoodoo. Is it real? Of course it's real. I mean, it's obvious it's real because it came from African people who were in that region, who took that knowledge and that science, who merged it with the indigenous cultures of that region and came up with their understanding of root work that came through New Orleans. But when you compare New Orleans hoodoo, or their brand, the style of hoodoo, to the hoodoo that we find in South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida, it's a different brand. Because when you go to New Orleans, you find Loas, you find Orishas in their hoodoo, you find all of that. But when you come to South Carolina and Georgia, you don't find none of that in the hoodoo. You find it in the books, you find it on the internet. People say, oh yeah, this is in hoodoo. No, it's not. It's not. Because what we call roots is what you call hoodoo. But we call it roots where I'm from, so it's like, if you know how to work your roots, you know how to work your roots. Now, you can call it voodoo, you can call it hoodoo, you can call it whatever you want to call it. We call it tapping into the natural elements. So, whereas you could open your book, and you could read in your book that tell you, hey, put this herb with that herb, with this stone with that stone. Cool. A hoodoo worker, a real root worker, walk in his backyard, walk down the street, find a fern plant, uproot that fern plant, then turn around and use that fern plant as some protection work. You see? This is how it works. So if I go to the cemetery, I'll go to the cemetery with that fern plant and plant it on the grave with some other work, you know what I mean, for protection from the dead. That's something you ain't gonna read in a book. You have to think like a root worker in order for these things to manifest for yourself. Like I said, in Geechee Gala culture, there is no name to spirits. We deal with raw, natural force. So whereas in Ifa, Lukumi, they would say, well, are we dealing with Shango? We dealing with the Shango energy. Cool. I'm all for it. Deal with the Shango energy. But as a root worker, I deal straight with the lightning. I deal straight with the force of nature that causes, the force of nature that you call Shango. I deal strictly with the force. You see? There's a big difference in that. Because me dealing strictly with the force, I don't have to subject myself to the protocols of the religion. At all. That's not root work. You know, when you put root working up against ATRs, it's two different realities. Because ATRs evolved and revolved around their premise of traditions, ceremonies, initiations, root working evolved around the premise of the individuals mastering the elements in nature, being taught from their family members teaching friends, friends teaching family, and it goes on and on and on as people manifest and master nature. And this is what we do. We master nature. So if you're looking for an initiation for a hoodoo work, you ain't gonna find that. What you need to do is find yourself a real good hoodoo worker who can teach you how to throw your roots, how to work your roots. Because many times too often, you know, we get called into being initiated and into African traditions, and what we end up doing is stepping over our ancestors, our indigenous ancestors that's here. We step over our indigenous ancestors to go run to Nigeria, to go run to Congo, to go run to all of these spirits and ancestors we are told that live thousands and thousands of miles from here. Simple and plain. You can't overstep the ancestors that were here on this land to go chase Nigerian, to go chase Bantu or any other ancestors until you address the problem here first. And this is why I say initiations for African American people should be last on your list. Last. Why? Because we have a different spiritual ethnic origin than other people. So we want to spend the majority of our life trying to search and put the pieces of the puzzle back together to try to figure out where the hell we come from. Who we are. In the course of us discovering who we are, we got to come to the reality that we are an amalgamation of many different ethnic groups. So when it comes to my magic, when it comes to my roots, I'm tapping into my roots. I don't have a tradition. I have roots. You have a tradition. I have roots. My roots is Igbo, Fulani, Bambara, Gola, Geechee. You see? These are real tribes you can connect to. I can connect to the Gola tribe in Ghana, Sierra Leone. I can tell you that the Gola tribe are nothing but a Niger-Congo group of people that migrated out of Congo over into Ghana. Because they don't speak the same kind of language that the Ghana people speak. They speak Twi and, Asante and different languages. But when you look at these people are Niger-Congo speaking people, meaning that they came from that region. So you got Niger-Congo people living in West Africa, which explains why the Gola people are said to be from Angola. The Gola, the Gola, the Gullah, you know what I mean? It's the Gola people. So, and it's a rich, thick culture. A lot of things people don't know. A lot of people in Charleston, where I'm from in South Carolina, have forgotten their roots. It takes time, dedication to go out and research. I've been many places, slave plantations. I've been to, y'all saw the video when I've been in the slave jail. I've been inside the building, outside the building. I've been to the Avery Institute, different slave museums, and looking at the artifacts, looking at where they find these things at. In Edgefield, South Carolina, they found face jugs that look like Nkisis from Congo. Okay. But they say we lost the tradition. We didn't lose the tradition. The tradition adapted itself to the new environment. So, whereas we don't have one tradition, we have multiple traditions. The thing is, we don't have a great teacher inside the African American community who can help African Americans put back together their spiritual paths, because it's so diverse. So as a consequence, we got people coming from Cuba, people coming from Panama, people coming from Brazil, people coming from Nigeria, everybody trying to hand us, hey, you need to get initiated. You need to get initiated. Initiated into what? Huh? What are we initiated into? I'm going to step over my ancestors that died in the transatlantic slave trade to go run in Nigeria, to join secret societies in Nigeria and secret societies in Cuba that probably been responsible for the transatlantic slave trade anyway. My ancestors and your ancestors are probably not in agreement, because many of the ancestors in Africa sold us off anyway. Part of the history nobody won't really talk about. And they wonder why in America we have no connections with other black people around the world, because we haven't addressed our own problems. Our own problems is ancestral. Why would I go all the way to a sacred place in Cuba? Why would I go all the way to a sacred place in Nigeria when there are sacred places right here in America where we don't even perform ceremonies at for our ancestors who died in the transatlantic slave trade? We don't. We don't even acknowledge them. But how many of us can say we done been to Nigeria? How many of us can say we done been to Cuba? But ain't none of us been to Edisto Beach, where people been getting dragged off of ships and chains, with a real ritual, with a real hoodoo supposed to be going on at. We don't do that. We too busy booking flights other places, disrespecting the ancestors that already live here. That's why I don't acknowledge none of the other stuff. Because until I solve the problem that we have here as a people, we can't solve none of these other problems in other places. By adapting their ancestral spirits, by adapting their spiritual philosophy, by adapting their worldview. Everybody's worldview is not going to be the worldview of an African American. We come from a different dynamic situation. We have similar circumstances with Africans in Africa with colonialism, but they have the land, right? Of course they do. But yet they still decide to let the colonial masters, slave masters, stay on their land, and puppet master be the puppet masters to all of them. I'm not trying to repatriate to a situation, an environment where you are the owners of the land, but you letting the people have it. You letting them take it. You letting them drain your resources. That's not an ideal situation for me. That's not telling me that the ancestral spirits are on your side. That's showing me that you're still continuing to be in a state of enslavement that you guys have already been in for all these hundreds of years. When you look at the black people in America, should we prospering in the midst of police brutality, in the midst of economic deprivation, in the midst of all of this stuff, we still prospering. We still doing good. We still balling. And we are doing better as a nation of people than any other group of black people outside of the continent of Africa. We're doing the best. You know why? Because the spirits and the ancestors are blessing us. So don't let nobody take away your blessing by trying to deceive you or try to curve you into ignoring your ancestors. Because the ancestors here are the one that's going to fight for us. Many of us walking around with Native American blood and us don't even know. Some of these street names that we live on, some of these counties that we live in are named after Native American black people, melanated black people. There's a place in South Carolina called Yamasee, South Carolina. They say, man, what the hell is it, Yamasee, South Carolina? Yamasee, South Carolina come from the Yamasee Indians that inhabited the whole territory prior to King Charles sending his voyage into Charleston. When Charleston was really called Charles Town, the town of King Charles. You see, there is true history behind even the street, county names of each state. And you can find out which Indians, Native Americans, inhabited the territory. They got another place in South Carolina going towards Florida called Coosawasee, the Coosawasee River. And the Coosawasee is the name of an Indian tribe, a very small Indian tribe that lived in that area. Europeans know, they knew about the Coosawasee. They totally wiped the Coosawasee out and enslaved them on plantations with black people. Then they turned around and erased the Native American history. Because you got black Native Americans and you have black Africans on plantations together. When they merged those two groups of people, they called everybody Negro. So by them calling everybody Negro and classifying everybody Negro, what ended up happening was the history of the Native Americans were erased. Because everybody called Negro. There's no sound way we can identify who were the black people here versus who were brought here. We all were mixed on the plantation together. That's how we ended up knowing the land. That's how we know about life of molasses herb. We know about working with the magnolia plant. And we know about working with plants that were indigenous to this land was because half of us are Native American anyway. You see? And when you're born in this thing, initiation is irrelevant to your spiritual power. That's the truth. Now, if you want to seek a particular path and say, well, I want to travel the path of Ifa, that is cool. Learn your roots first. Learn them first. To me, in my opinion, there's not enough good teachers out there to get in any one of these traditions. Not enough good teachers. And all the good teachers are booked up. Everybody else fake mixing. That's the real deal. I work with people that go get burnt, got their warriors other places. Get their warriors, they gave up their $300 to $500, $400, and nobody teaching them how to work it. Niggas disappearing. Oh, I'm busy, I can't help you. Yeah, after you got my money, you can't help. And this is the normal attitude of most people. Over-orients, all of them. Normal attitude. You pay me, you get ceremony, and that's it. Goodbye. And you expect us to subject ourselves to that? Half of the issues that we are experiencing in our spiritual life is based on discrimination and racism. Do Cuban Paleros and some Spanish Paleros, Tatas, want black people in Palo? Hell no. They don't want you in there because you got Bantu blood running through your veins. They know once you get in, you're going to take it and you're going to make it black. They don't want it black because they already made it Cuban. They took the Kikongo language, Kikongo prayer, everything Kikongo, took it to Cuba and remixed it. Took all the prayers, put it in Spanish. Oh, you don't know Spanish? No Palo. That's what they told me when I went to Miami. No Spanish? No. I know some Kikongo though. Oh, no Palo. How the hell I can't get no Palo when I know Kikongo, but I don't know Spanish? Because they translated the whole religion. All the Tradados, all the Mambos, everything that they translated into Spanish for them. What I'm saying is we get the traditions and we make it black. Same way the Spanish people took Palo and Ocha. They took Ifa and made it Ocha. They took African religion and made it Spanish. For them. This is what I'm saying. Like we the only ones sitting around acting like we scared to take Ifa and make it black. Make it relevant to our political, social, economic conditions. That's what we need to do. Because they got Ifa in Africa and they ain't making it relevant to their shit. Because they still suffering and in pain. They got the hella bomb ass ceremonies, but they ain't got no progression going on over there. You see? Now, they're looking at the root work. Oh, you need to come to get... Nigga, I be in the graveyard shaking these bones. The crossroads shaking these bones. And the wood shaking my divination chain. Making things happen. Making money pop up. Make people's life better. Make situations better. Why should I stop all of that to go get initiated? Oh yeah, I did do it. I did stop all of it, go get initiated and got dicked. That's what I did. But it's all good. I ain't sweating. Because one monkey don't stop no show. You see? For the most part, when we go as a root worker, when you go to get initiated, you make sure that you show that person that who initiating you that you know what you're talking about, so they don't pigeon feed you. Only people should be getting pigeon fed as people who walk in Munanzos or people who walk in LAs and say, I don't know nothing. I want Ifa. I don't know nothing. I won't follow. Those are the people that get pigeon fed. Like, you need to learn this. You need to learn this. But when you walk through the door, you know candle magic, hell, shit, you know some necromancy. Shit, you know about over 50 different roots. Why in the hell should a motherfucker scratch you Pinot Noir? Why in the hell should you get handed Ifa and be considered a newbie? Spiritually, you a newbie? But this is how they do it. Because they're set on protocol. Every root worker, in my opinion, if you've been working your roots for over 5-6 years, you should be able to walk into any African tradition and show them that you know how to do your do, and you should be able to elevate very fast. And this is what I teach. I teach people how to elevate fast in African traditions. Now, if you're being taught by a hater, of course they're gonna not let you go. You know, oh no, you need 3 more years, 4 more years, 5 more years. By the time you make priesthood, shit, you be about 72 years old. You know what I mean? And you probably, by that time, you probably know more than them, but they ain't gonna tell you because they have the authority to hold you back. And stop subjecting your spiritual life to strangers. Because at this point, some of these people are total, absolute, complete strangers to your spiritual development. They ain't trying to help you. They ain't gonna help you. They want your money. Real spiritual development knows itself in the mirror. So if you with somebody who's going to help you elevate, they're not going to pigeon feed you. Today we on candle magic. Tomorrow we on conjuration. The next day, if we could, we walking through walls. Because a true teacher is going to place his students in positions to where he can call his students and learn something. That's me. I want to be able to call my students and be like, hey, I got this little issue going on, and hey, you know how I do. I got an issue going on. I might need some advice. Just because I taught you don't mean that you can't teach me. Shit, I learn from my students all the time. They call me, tell me, say, man, I did this and did that. I said, hold on, let me grab my notepad. You did what? And what happened? This happened? All right, I got you. Write it down. You know why? Because they're learning. Spirit revealing things to them that I couldn't reveal to them. I only could show you how to find your own power within your own self. That's why I don't like doing work for people like that. People know, they call me medicine man. My wife gone. I said, well, you got a new girlfriend yet? Because she need to stay gone. Because we ain't trying to bring her back because I don't do that kind of work. You know what I mean? Real talk, I don't do that. I mean, I try to stay away from it because it's too demanding. It's too demanding. And if I got to get paid by the hour, then I'm on some $20 an hour thing. And, it's too expensive. So I fall back on that. I'd rather help people get houses. I'd rather help people get jobs. I'd rather help people get promotions on their jobs. Person sitting around worrying about some dude or some girl who, laying up with somebody else. You don't want you. Don't want you. Can't make, people, when it comes to this binding work, and I do binding work, but when it comes to the binding work, you bind two people together. If one of the person's ancestors are not in agreement with that, you got problems on your hands. People think, well, he don't know no magic. He don't got to know magic. His ancestors know magic. And when you put magic on somebody, you put some voodoo or hoodoo on somebody, and their ancestors, they ain't feeling it. And the ancestors rebelling against it, that's their spiritual protection. Now you got to go to war with their ancestors just to bend somebody to love you. Man, it ain't even that work. It ain't even that serious. It ain't even that serious. Because it's going to take months and months and months and months to go to war with somebody's ancestors just to get you to love them. Just to get them to love you. It's not worth it. Too time consuming. So they wonder why spiritual workers tell them, well, this costs $900,000. Of course it does. Because if you're a real spiritual worker, you work in a situation, man, you work in a situation every day for 21 days or more. And for me to work something 3 hours a day for 21 days, and if I'm getting paid $20 an hour, that's $60 a day. You see? And this is how most spiritual workers put together their pricing, schematics. They look at time. Time is money. They look at it like we can do anything we want to do, but, the time that it takes to do these things is money. And that's why I would rather people learn their own craft. Because when you learn your own craft, you place yourself in a position to change your own reality. Nobody should be changing your reality for you. Nobody. My phone should not ring from nobody unless they wants to be taught how to tap into their own ancestral roots. That's it. But I get people calling. Oh, I want him back. Oh, I want her back. Call me by the house, man. Call me about this lucky lottery ticket you got. You know what I mean? Call me about this bank loan. Call me somebody touch your child. Somebody kidnap somebody. Call me then. When the real shit need to go down. But right now, that love work? Nah, buddy. Like I say, if she leave you, let her stay gone. If he leave you, let him stay gone. Know why? Because there's always somebody that's going to come back and replace that person. Always somebody come back to replace that person. So, my message tonight, you know what I mean, before I get loose, my message tonight is that a root worker is a shaman. That's what he is. He's a shaman. Bend forces of nature that are nameless. We don't get into the names. We get into the power. We don't get into the dogma. We get into moving the energy. So, as I close this message, I want y'all to realize that, like I said before, a root worker is a shaman. We bend forces of nature. We work with spirits of the water. We work with the spirits of the fire. We work with the spirits of the air. And we work with the spirits of the earth. And we bend it and mold it and craft it. And we combine energies. We put a little earth energy with a little fire energy. Poof! We combine it. And we work it. We work the raw energy. Like I said, some people work spirits. We work energies. That's the difference between a root worker. He's not confounded to any section of magic, of voodoo, of hoodoo. We're not confounded. Meaning that a hoodoo worker can go in and work with any spirit. Now, plenty of people ain't gonna like that, but it is what it is. We spiritualists who cross lines. Yeah, we do. We cross lines. So if I wanted to work with Papa Legba, or if I wanted to work with Eshu or Legwa, from the hoodoo perspective, I can. Now, when it comes to a traditionalist, I'll probably be arguing all day and all night with a Babalawo or somebody about it. Oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. Guess what, hoodoo? We don't care. I don't care what you say about what I can and can't do and all of this here. My only issue is to get results. So if I'm working this SU and you working your SU and you doing all these, you done killed 40 goats. And all I did was pour some oil on my SU and I got results before you. Don't be mad. Don't be mad. Because it's not about the spirit you're contacting. It's about the power of the conjurer. You see? That's the difference. In hoodoo, it's about the power of the conjurer. You got the power to control the spirits. You are a bigger entity in the universe than this spirit you calling. So when you call this spirit, you ain't calling that but a French fry. You calling a low dude. Somebody little to you. Because you are the highest expression of God on this planet. So when you call forth the spirit, you call forth the spirit in a demanding, commanding way. Like, I'm not begging you. I'm not venerating you. I'm telling you, this is what you need to be doing right now. This is how the game go. This is how hoodoo work. This is how root working works. When they talk about Dr. Buzzard, I be seeing people talk about Dr. Buzzard all the time. We reading these old crazy ass articles and books. In my own time, Dr. Buzzard was the supervillain. He was that root worker that walked in the courtrooms with people. These scary ass niggas ain't doing this shit like that no more. Dr. Buzzard will walk in the courtroom chewing high jaw, sit down right, right next to solicitor. Like, yeah, I hear. What's up? Shaking his dirt, his graveyard powder all around the courtroom. You know, I ain't nobody looking. You know how that go. But guess what? He did it. And he been successful. He had heart, bravery to challenge the system. People need to take example from people like that. You know what I mean? Take examples. He wasn't afraid, never afraid. He was a very powerful conjurer in South Carolina. Real talk. And in Georgia. Very powerful. Family carry a strong name. But you know, his family really don't practice it anymore. I done been out to St. Helena. I done been there. Done that. Done talked to these people. Ain't nobody in his family really want to even carry on the tradition anymore except for our brother Gregory. And he got a few people, very few people, count on one hand, that he teaching. Because nobody want to learn it. Nobody want to acknowledge the fact that, hey, we all got Geechee Gullah blood in us. Everybody. I was born in Charleston. But you got it, he got it, and she got it too. Ask your grandmama where she from. Go ahead. Ask your granddaddy where he from. Ask your grandma. Ask all the old people in your family where the fuck they from. Ask them. They gonna tell you, oh, we from Georgia. We from South Carolina, Alabama, Florida. You know how the game go. You know what I mean? Everybody got that little bit of Geechee in them. Shit, I run into Geechee in York, Pennsylvania. Like, damn, man. What you doing way up there? Boy, I try chilling. I said, yeah, dude, boy, I feed you now. You know? Because that's how we do it. You know? So I walk in the gas station, I'm like, man, let me get 2 Dutch Master and 3 of them Black a mile. He said, man, you a Geechee, boy, where you from? What part of South Carolina you from? I said, man, I'm from Charleston. He said, yeah, man, from Orangeburg, man. I'm from right there by you, man. I said, all right, then, cool, then. Hook up. My number. York, Pennsylvania. Geechee. Bunch of them out here. People telling me, man, my grandmama from down south. My granddaddy. Yeah, they move up. Everybody up here move from down there. So don't think you ain't got this in your blood. You just forgot your history. You forgot the part of you that has the power. Because you're too busy trying to find other definitions for yourself. Don't find no more. You don't need no more definitions. We got enough definitions. We niggas, we guards, we bitches, hoes, hustlers, gangsters. We got enough fucking names. Time for us to claim an ethnicity. All right, I'm a Geechee. Where you come from? I come from this place. That take me from that place there, and I back. That's how it works. We have a whole culture that we were connected to that we disconnected ourselves from just to become who we are today. And like I said, everybody in their family got Geechee in their blood. Everybody. If you do the history on America, you'll find that the majority of the black people lived in the South originally. And through, I think it was during the Reconstruction era, and the industrialization age, after the Civil War, of course, after the Civil War, people migrated up north. Because they saw the dream that if you help the Northerners fight the war, we free the slaves and all this lying and bullshit and carrying on. So people were moving, believing in the fake dream. Left some of their family down south to go up north. So like I said, originally, Virginia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Florida, all these places have ports where people were brought in. And the people that were brought in were brought from West and Central Africa. These people sat on plantations and merged, they combined their spiritual knowledge to create a super system of survival that was against oppression. People think hoodoo about being holy. Oh yeah? Hoodoo is unlike African traditions, not about being holy. Hoodoo was developed on plantations as a means to combat oppression. So that means if I have to go out in the woods and put together some roots and herb, okay, they got my mom and they're cooking their fucking food, so okay, I'm going to get this pork root berry, squeeze this thing, put them in this food. 3 days later, master dead, slaves running. That's how it worked. That was hoodoo. It was against enemies, not black people, not your own kind, man. Calling my phone, oh man, I want you to hex this nigga. Hex your fucking white landlord, nigga. Why ain't we hex him for that rent money? You know what I mean? That's how it go, yo. But you know, I appreciate y'all watching this video and everything good. Medicine Man signing off live. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be dropping some videos and I'm about to get into this advanced candle magic. As soon as I can find my candles, I got them stashed around here somewhere. I'm gonna do some advanced candle magic with graveyard dirt, mountain brick dust, a whole bunch of material that I've been collecting through the years. I'm gonna do some candle magic and show some people some different things, how to work the candles, how to plant them in certain places, like planting them at the crossroads. You know, and who do we really don't deal with the crossroads? That's like something that was introduced. Everything was basically planted in the woods or planted in the graveyards or at the railroad tracks. Working the crossroads is something that was implemented into the practice from, you know, African traditions and stuff like that. There, even though it works, we all for it because it does work. We all for it. So, but sticking to the originality of what hoodoo is about, you know, we're going to talk about candle magic, true indeed, but we're going to work with the lamp, and that's going to be in my private class. You know, in the private class, I'm going to be with the lamps, and we're going to deal with making mojo bags, smoking mojo bags, connecting spirits to mojo bags, connecting elemental energies to mojo bags, scrying with the lamp, conjuring spirits into the lamp to communicate with them during your readings. What kind of readings you're doing? You're doing penny readings, you're doing chamalongo type readings, you're doing obies. So we're going to get into all of that, and we're going to work with some of those systems in our quest to learn hoodoo and advance our practice. The obi is a real good divination system, basic yes or no. Chamalongos too, real good divination system, yes or no. You can do some of the same things with that you can do with chamalongos and obi with the pennies. You see, you can work with the pennies, 4 pennies. 4 pennies, heads, tail, yes, no. Different directions that the faces in the house turn into tells a different story about the reality. The way that it falls tells a different story about the reality. So I'm going to go ahead and get into that in my next video. We're going to talk about the pennies and working with pennies and divination, the real hoodoo way. I mean, I don't deal with the cards at all. I know people work with the playing cards. I work with the playing cards too. I can show you how to do it. I don't read with the playing cards nowadays, but in the past, I have. You know, I have read with the playing cards. I'm very proficient with the playing cards, as well as the tarot. Don't like tarot at all, but I'm real proficient with it. So I'm gonna get into the penny readings, and then I'm gonna talk about scrying. You know, that's a real deep subject for a lot of people, being able to scry. I do it in the midst of all of my readings. When I do readings, I read from graveyard tree bark. All right, something that I learned from my grandparents, how to read tree bark. So I learned how to read the tree bark. It took a long time. I got it. But in the midst of me reading the tree bark, when I throw it and I cast and I throw, I scry. I use either my hoodoo lamp, I use my lamp, or I use candle light. And I scry into the fire to see the answer of the reading. I don't read the bark per se. I scry into the fire. And I pull out the messages of the reading. Then I go do the reading. You know, because every reading should, you know, from my perspective, every reading comes with a vision. So when you look into the reading, you're going to see certain things, certain visions. Like I did a reading for somebody, and I saw some things, a carnival and all this other stuff. But that person I did the reading for knew exactly what that was about. You see? So, I'm going to teach y'all how to do some scrying. I'm going to give y'all some good advice on scrying and tapping into the spiritual realm. You know, it's a whole lot of things I got on my plate. But I want to start with the candle magic and working with the hoodoo lamp. Is going to be an advanced, like I said, it's going to be an advanced class that I'll be having for my students. Because I can't just kind of get it out there. Everybody don't get it to my students. So I'm going to get it to my students first and see how they progress on it. And we're going to build on it. And then we're going to get to the next level. So I appreciate y'all looking. Peace, love, hair, grease, happiness, you know what I mean? It's a good day, beautiful day. I'm feeling well. You know, I'm sweating like a hog because I got this food on the stove right here real quick. Trying to get my rice on, you know what I mean? Oh shit. I almost burned up the corn, but I got my rice and my corn on, and I got this you know, I got that chicken in the oven, I do. I got that chicken in the oven, so you know, get back at me. It's Medicine Man reporting live from the kitchen. You know what I mean? We got a lot of hoodoo going down. So stay in touch. Peace.